It's lovely there.
Okay, perfect. Can you hear us?
Oh, you got his headset.
Perfect. Let me oh, wait. How can I test if the microphone is working then? They can hear us from the live. Okay. Okay, let me see. Okay, you can hear us?
Testing,
Okay.
testing 1, 2, 3.
Good. Perfect. I think I find something that you just mentioned. Let me bring it out.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'll be back. 1 second. Okay, yeah. I just left one minute there.
So maybe you can check in with Rose and see where she.
Are we good?
Am I going to be able to hear her? Like, I don't. We can't hear her.
No, you won't be able to hear her.
Well, how do we know when we're ready to start?
Yeah. Are we good to start?
Because usually we wait a few
Okay.
minutes after 10, just because people don't always come on right when they're supposed to.
So is it live right now?
So are we just gonna start by ourselves or? Okay. Okay, great. We're gonna just start by ourselves. You can see that, we're gonna wait for a few more minutes and then start.
Okay. How many? Do we know how many people are on?
Do you know how many people are there right now? Okay. So right now it's only like 20, but we got
Okay.
like 120 registrations.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess we'll just wait a couple minutes
Yeah.
to have some more people join on.
So welcome everyone for whoever's on the line. I'm Hunter Milborne. This is Rose Nugent, my colleague, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how to add pre-construction to your real estate practice and talk specifically about a couple of projects that Madamy's doing. But we always usually wait a few minutes just because not everybody's as prompt as the people who are on right now. So maybe we'll wait a couple of minutes and just start in a minute or two. See if it, So I think they're also going to record this too, so that if somebody wants a copy after, I don't think there's any issue there in terms of getting a copy. So if someone joins late and wants to do that, we can always mention that again before we're all done. So what I'd like to do is just to start a little bit about talking about you, who are primarily the audience. I think today is agents that have been doing resales. So whether you're in the business for 1 year or 3 years or 5 years or 20 years or 25 years, most people have, a practice that's really needs driven. So, if you're brand new, you're prospecting, you're doing whatever, but someone needs to buy something, they need to sell something, it's not a proactive practice. It's more of a reactive type practice. People need to be, they need something smaller, they need something bigger, they need to move to a different location, they need to help their child buy a unit, they need to help their parents move, downsize, or whatever. So, and they trust you and they need you. So we're going to try to give you some techniques and some language that are going to help you maybe be a little bit more proactive and give you some language and numbers that would help in a pre-construction practice. So let's just talk about how pre-construction works. So typically, in a normal market that's balanced, where you've got equal demand and supply, which hardly ever happens. You've usually got a situation like we had for the last 3 or 4 years, where the demand was exceeding the supply. And today, where maybe it's the reverse, where the demand is off a little bit because of rates. But I think everyone who's been through a few cycles will know that this is a temporary condition. Whether it's summer or whether it's fall or whether it's this time next year, nobody knows when those rates will peak out and drop again. But everyone knows that will happen. We were at a big event yesterday, and one of the main economists for one of the biggest banks, before he gave his speech, he said, I want to give you a bit of a caveat, is that nobody knows really what's going to happen. And at the end of the speech, he said the same thing. But the one thing that we do know is that, there's an inflation issue right now, and rates are up. They're going to be up for a little while, but whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, they will come down, and they'll probably come down to about half of where they are now. So that's the general consensus. So if you do the math about a pre-construction type of project, let's say that you have a client that you can sell a purchase, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how do you do that, but I want to go through a bit of the math and the arithmetic and the economics first. So let's say that you are going to have somebody purchase something that's $700,000. So in a typical world where markets are balanced, the deposit is usually 15 to 20%, and it's structured over a year, and the balance is due on closing, which if someone pays 15%, they pay 5% on occupancy, and then the rest on closing, which they can get a mortgage for 80% of the purchase price. So in today's world, and Mattamy, one of the projects that we're going to feature today, is that it's something that they've decided to make it much more easier and affordable for purchasers to buy. So the total deposits prior to occupancy are 10%. So the math that I'm going to explain to you is it's valid, in a market that's stronger, where the appreciation is a little bit quicker, but it's also very valid in a market like today, because people have investment dollars. So we're gonna get to that in a minute. But the basic economics of pre-construction are, so purchaser puts down, let's say 5%. In the first 30 days, they put $5,000 with their agreement, up to 5% in 30 days, another 5% in about a year. Rose will get into the more specifics on that in a minute. But then it's typically around 3 years or 3.5 years before a transaction would close. So what I've always done in talking to a purchaser is to ask them, rather than me try to tell them what I think the market's going to appreciate at over the next 3 years on an average annual basis. I would always ask them, what do you think the market's going to appreciate? And, they might say, well, 2%, or they might say 4%, they might say 6%. It depends on their opinion. But let's pick a number in the middle. Let's say it's 4%. So on a $700,000 asset, because remember we have the asset amount and the deposit amount. So let's say what's my return on that 10% deposit over the next 36 months, over the next 3 years? If I have a 4% average annual rate of appreciation, we won't get into compounding. We'll just do it simple because the math's easier. So 4% of 700,000 is $28,000. So if that's the average annual rate of appreciation times 3, you have just over $80,000 as a return over a 3-year period at a modest rate of appreciation. So now if you go back to the deposit amount, so if the deposit amount is 10%, and again, we won't do the math in terms of that not all of it goes in day one, because some of it goes in later, which also makes your return better. But let's say it all went in day one, 10%. So if that asset based on 700,000 increases by about $80,000 over that 36-month period, even if they said 2%, because if it's 2%, then it's $14,000 a year times 3 is 28. You can do the math, 36. So it's actually, it's a very, very good return that the purchaser is going to experience over that 3 years. So, show me a mutual fund or a stock that can do that. So I think the goal now is to how do you reach these people and give them that? So if you take your top 20 or 30 purchasers your clients that you've worked with over the past, have you ever just called them up and said on a proactive basis and said, look, we've been, working together for a number of years. I've sold you this, I've listed that, we found you this, we found you that. But what do you do with your investment dollars? They're probably going to one of the bigger banks, talking to somebody about a mutual fund. How many millionaires do you know that have made money in the stock market versus in the real estate market? So if you're a little bit proactive and said, look, let me just chat with you a little bit about the economics of pre-construction. And you can go through that little exercise with them of basically letting them tell you what they think the market's going to appreciate that, and then using their assumptions to calculate what the return would be on their deposits. So, we have some questions. We have some time after to chat a little bit about that, but that's the essence of pre-construction. And, whenever I've done this to a group of resale people, they thought, well, gee, that's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that before? But I think if you experience that and you try that with some of your most trusted clients, you'll find that someone will say, yeah, sure, listen, show me something, especially in today's world where there's a 10% deposit opportunity as opposed to a normal 15 or 20% opportunity. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the mic over to Rose and let her chat a little bit about 2 projects that we have on the market right now for Mattamy. And they both are 10% deposits.
Yeah.
Rose, why don't you give everyone a little insight into Mile Creek and West Bend?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Hunter. So some great points there just about why it makes sense to get into pre-construction. And I'll take a few minutes just to get into sort of some details about the ground level of working in pre-construction. So I'm a sales manager, and hopefully we have the opportunity to meet sometime in the near future in person. And typically that would be, on a sales center, on site, across various projects that we represent in the GTHA. So as Hunter mentioned, right now we're working with Mattamy Homes, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with, as they are the largest private home builder in North America. So their presence when it comes to low rise is dominant, in the US as well as in Canada. But they really are making it a point to expand on their high-rise division. And I actually had the opportunity to join them on the groundbreaking of 3 new communities a few weeks ago. So in the GTA, between Toronto, Milton, and Burlington, all in 1 week, they broke ground on these new communities. And I think it's such a testament to their commitment to bringing new projects in areas that really need them. So going back to affordable housing, and in areas that are seeing this growth and ongoing demand. And Mattamy is a great example of one of the type of clients that we work with here at Milborne. So we represent builders who are trusted, who have a proven track record, and essentially an extensive pipeline. So it's a great opportunity to get in and represent some of the best developers in the GTHA. And Mattamy right now has an extensive portfolio in their high-rise division. They have a couple different communities and developments. So we'll start with Mile Creek, which is a multi-phased community. So there's actually 6 towers in this development, and phase 1 we launched late last year, which are 2 towers. The initial tower is 226 units. They're 8 stories, and they're set against this really nice low-rise residential neighborhood. And I think Milton is really special. It's in the Halton region, which is set back against the Niagara Escarpment. So imagine your backyard, walking into waterfalls and hills and trails, but you're also very centrally located, very close proximity to major highways. So you can get out of the city to major destinations really easily. Our site at Mile Creek is actually 10 minutes from the future Wilfrid Laurier University campus. So this is going to bring thousands of students directly to our neighborhood and ultimately drive that ongoing demand. Milton is also one of the most affordable areas in the GTA region. So at Mile Creek, we are averaging below $1,000 per square foot, which is super competitive, one of the best values in the GTHA. And our product not only includes parking, but as Hunter mentioned, they offer amazing incentives, that 10% down, starting from the 500,000s, 1-bedroom and den up to 3-bedroom and den layouts, $0 development levies, and 1 year free maintenance fees. So this product is really ideal because it's in a multi-phase community. And when we say that, it's basically kind of 3 different communities coming in at different points in time. So we launched our phase 1. We have our phase 2 likely coming up sometime this year. And then thereafter, we'll have our phase 3. And the beauty of pre-construction is that when you get into this initial phase, you're sort of automatically gaining appreciation as we continue to release the future towers. Because typically price points will go up. So we have some great opportunities, as I mentioned, starting from the 500s over in Milton at Mile Creek. Next, we have a boutique development. So this is at West Bend Residences in Toronto. And this is a really special opportunity. It's a 12-story tower, just 174 units in total. And we're next to essentially what I would call Toronto's, Central Park in New York, right? So High Park, it's a 400-acre green space. It's the largest available in the city, and it's across from our site at West Bend Residences. So this is an amazing opportunity because that area is so coveted. It's a beloved neighborhood surrounded by multi-million-dollar homes that rarely see inventory on the market. So you can imagine how coveted those neighborhoods surrounding Central Park in New York are. This is a similar scenario. We don't see a lot of inventory come up in the market, and it's a great opportunity to get into this neighborhood at an affordable price point. So West Bend Residences averages around $1,300 per square foot, which is super competitive considering the outside neighborhoods of Toronto have similar price points. So here you're also next to a major subway station, Keele Subway, which easily takes you to the downtown core in just a few minutes. So being centrally located next to world-class transportation, next to a desirable area amenity really shows the value of West Bend Residences. Plus, in a boutique building, you get that more community feel for your buyers who are maybe transitioning from low-rise and want that sort of community tight-knit community feel versus being in a high-rise tower. This is that great opportunity to get in. Again, only 10% deposit here. We are looking at zero development levies and free maintenance for 1 year. So you're giving your clients a great opportunity to get into covetable neighborhoods at affordable, low deposits, and with great incentives that save them money on closing and when they move in. And I just want to leave one point. I think when it comes to pre-construction, a lot of the brokers' reputations with their clients is built on the quality of the projects that they can bring. And I think having access to amazing developers like Madame E Homes with notable projects like Mile Creek and West Bend really give you the best opportunities to offer your clients. And we see it time and time again. It becomes a cycle. The investor clients, they come in, they purchase pre-construction. At the beginning, because it's pre-construction, they have a few years to let that appreciate. And then they take those returns and they reinvest it. And it becomes a really nice sales cycle that we see the same clientele buying, as well as the next generation of those initial buyers. So again, it's a great opportunity to expand your portfolio, get those ongoing sales. And here at Milborne, we're so supportive to make sure that your success is our success. So all the tools that you need, we have a great sales team. And
yeah, so I wanted to also thank Realty One Group for inviting us at Milborne Real Estate Inc. at Milborne Group here to our business. We don't really do many resales. We do representing the developer in the sale and marketing of their pre-construction condos, and we've been at it the longest in the GTA, and we have the largest volume. So, just as a bit of an example, on this building that Rose mentioned in Burlington, it was called Martha James. It was launched in the first quarter of 2022 when the market was quite strong, and we had almost 1,000 requests for suites, and we had 150 units. So it wasn't really a sales job; it was really a who are we going to deal with and who are we going to disappoint job. And that happens more usually than not. Over the last 40 odd years that we've been in the business, every 3, 4, 5 years, you have a market like that. And every 4, 5, or 6 years or 7, you're going to have a slowdown where you have a year like now where it's a bit slower. So there's not as much competition. And part of our goal of having this little webinar is, we think of Realty One Group as a sister company. We have some, family members with common shareholdings there. So what we'd like to do is build up a good relationship with Realty One Group to provide access for those Realty One Group agents and for these projects as which is important now, but it's very important when the market changes again. And I know we're going to have some questions. So I'm not sure whether Lovely's on the line there, and if you want to give us a question, or is that little chat box there? Can you see that?
Yeah, I see. Are these promotions available on the portal? Absolutely. So we'll designate maybe one email to kind of send out our portals to, and there you can access all the marketing assets. Definitely go on. In pre-construction, promotion is huge, so definitely use those to your advantage. Send out great marketing brochures, investment brochures to your clients. And of course, as I mentioned, we do have the sales centers. So you're more than welcome to bring your clients in, walk through the project to get a full spiel about why it's a great investment.
Very good.
Yes, great promotions. Yeah. So as Hunter mentioned, I think it's a great point. In a hot market, you won't see the same type of promotions available, and you won't see the same type of access to inventory. So it is an opportune time to really get your buyers what they're looking for and basically their top choices in the market today. So take advantage of that and connect with our sales to see what opportunities there are for you and your clients.
You might want to give your phone number too, Rose. If they, someone wants to call you directly.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're able to
make
take
an appointment
it down.
with one of the sales gangs,
For sure. I'll send it over to Lovely, but you can reach me directly at 416-845-4676.
We got another couple of
And
questions there.
then, so access again. So reach out to us. We'll send our contact here. I just gave my phone number. So if you are looking for a particular project, again, Milborne represents many different projects at a time. So reach out to us and we can connect and see what's available.
And do those two projects, they have individual websites? Or
They do. They do have individual websites. So I'll definitely send that forward and make sure all of you get those links there. Mr. Hunter, just a suggestion as a promotion, key to buyers of M equals now. Just a suggestion if builder could cover half the LTT for Toronto projects, land transfer tax.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, well, the one project, Mile Creek, is in Milton, so it's not subject to the Toronto City land transfer tax, but the West Bend being at 1660 Bloor West, Bloor and Keels, across the street from Hyde Park. So it's, in the city, you've got the more expensive land transfer tax too. So that was a good suggestion there from someone.
Yeah, definitely. And again, these promotions to help with sort of those closing costs. We have $0 development levies. Typically, it's tens of thousands of dollars, even on a 1-bedroom unit. So really nice opportunity to kind of bring those closing costs down and save money for your clients. Phone number again, 416-845-4676. Maybe I'll type that into the chat here as well, if that helps. Are there any other questions?
I
think that might be it.
We're good. We think we're good. So
Great.
anyway, thanks everyone for the time, and we look forward to continuing our dialogue. I mean, this won't be the first and the last one of these we do. We'll do more as we bring out new product. But there's a big, as Rose mentioned, I mean, when the market's really strong, it's really, our job is to release units slowly, increase the prices as much as possible. We work for the vendor. We're the listing agent. So, and then, we usually have much more demand than supply. So it's something that we can do without too much difficulty, and the market's there to absorb it. When the market's like it is today, and it's a little weaker, it is a great opportunity for purchasing, because if you're buying a resale, you're closing 30, 60, 90 days, you're dealing with current interest rates. It's not as easy. But buying a pre-construction unit that's going to close significantly in the future, I think, all the bank economists would agree that by the time most buildings that are in pre-construction sales today are going to close, you're going to have a much different interest rate environment.
Absolutely.
Good.
Great, thanks. I see. I'll type in the portal as well as my contact info here. That's everything.
Can you do that right here?
Yeah, I think I can type that in there.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Someone had a question too. How are the capital gains calculated?